Hi everyone, I'm 44 years old and I have a daughter Trisha, who is 23. In a couple of months, she's getting married to her boyfriend Jerry, who is 26. I became a father in my early 20s. Just 6 months after our wedding, my wife unfortunately died from an epileptic seizure. As a single father, I had one goal: to give Trisha the best life I possibly could. After my wife's death, I threw myself into work, as many people do. My sister helped raise Trisha during the day, and I took over after work. I worked hard, got promoted, and spent all my money raising Trisha and making sure she had everything she wanted. So it's no surprise that she turned out spoiled, and that's entirely my fault. I always thought I was doing what was best for her, giving her everything she asked for simply because I could. My sister warned me many times that I was going about it the wrong way, but I didn't listen. Trisha was my weakness, and I couldn't say no to her. I had been warned this would backfire, and it finally did about a week ago when Trisha announced that I had to pay for her wedding. She wanted an incredibly lavish ceremony, with a budget of around $150,000. She wanted to invite a ton of guests, including people she barely even knew, just because she wanted to. She wanted an extravagant banquet and a ridiculously expensive venue. On top of that, she expected me to pay for a custom-designed wedding dress, all the decorations, and her bridesmaids' dresses. I'm not stingy. I'm doing fine financially, but $150,000 is too much even for me. I have my own business now, but spending that much on a wedding would financially ruin me. So, with a heavy heart, I told Trisha I couldn't afford to pay for the whole wedding, and that she would have to either cut down on expenses or contribute herself. She looked disappointed and asked if I had saved up a wedding fund for her, and yes, I had, but it was only $75,000. First, I didn't expect her to think I'd cover everything. At most, I assumed she'd ask me to pay for the venue or catering. Maybe both, but definitely not the entire thing. Second, I didn't expect her to get married so soon, so I hadn't had enough time to save more. Besides, she and Jerry had only been together for a year. They could have waited a bit to get married. During that time I could have saved more, or maybe they'd both find better jobs and pitch in themselves. I explained all this to Trisha, but she didn't seem to understand. She threw a tantrum and left the house. She was angry because she believed I could pay for the wedding, but just didn't want to. She accused me of being selfish and said that if it were a business deal, I wouldn't even hesitate. I didn't know how to explain to her that it's not the same thing, so I just let it go. I felt awful, and after some thought, I decided to take out a personal loan to pay for her wedding. I talked to a friend who works in banking. I figured I could pay it off gradually, so it didn't seem like a big deal. She didn't speak to me for 2 days, and I decided I'd only talk to her once the loan was finalized. But on the third day, she posted something nasty on Facebook. She called me a broke loser. She accused me of being selfish, said I only ever worked and was never there for her as a child. She even hinted that her mom's death might have been my fault, which was especially cruel. She went on to say I was a selfish workaholic who only cared about himself and his business, and yet somehow still ended up broke. That was a low blow. Right after reading that post, I blocked her. I didn't touch my phone or go online for hours after that. My sister, worried about me, came over. When she arrived, I broke down crying in front of her. Trisha's words cut deep. I was depressed that entire day, and the next few days too. I barely spoke to anyone except for work, and I struggled to even get out of bed. My sister stayed with me and took care of me. She also spoke to Trisha and made her delete the post, but that didn't change anything, because now I knew what my daughter really thought of me, and that broke my heart. I couldn't think of a single thing I wanted to say to her, so I just stayed silent. I only unblocked her yesterday when I started to feel a little better. My sister had already told Trisha off, but I couldn't let this go without speaking to her myself. I had canceled the loan. And honestly, this might sound horrible, but I wanted to hurt my daughter emotionally. Because she had done the same to me. I know she's my daughter and I shouldn't feel that way, but I just really wanted her to feel what I was feeling. So I unblocked her and waited for her to call. She finally did last night. She started with an apology, saying she had just been really angry and didn't mean most of what she said. She was just upset that she wouldn't have the wedding of her dreams. But even while apologizing, she didn't sound sincere. She sounded annoyed. And hearing that tone made me feel even worse. So I interrupted her and told her that I had been planning to take out a loan to surprise her. For a moment, she sounded happy until I said I canceled the loan after seeing her post and that I wouldn't be giving her any money now. I told her to figure out how to pay for the wedding on her own, since she's so independent and I'm such a selfish dad. She tried to say something, but I cut her off and said that if I'm so selfish, then she should pay me back every cent I spend on her after she turned 18. I didn't actually mean it. I didn't plan on taking the money back. I just wanted her to feel ashamed. So I told her I wanted every damn cent returned, and that's not a small amount. I paid for her college tuition and housing. She didn't want to live in a dorm. She had to have her own apartment. She went shopping with her friends all the time, went on expensive trips, because she knew I'd cover it all. She was spoiled rotten and took full advantage of it. So I told her to pay it all back, and then we'd never have to speak again. She wouldn't have to deal with her broke father, and I wouldn't have to deal with an entitled, nasty, and grateful brat. That would be the perfect arrangement for both of us. By the time I finished my last sentence, I was literally yelling into the phone. I was shaking with rage and everything.